At the company's annual gala, I was hiding in a corner slacking off, texting my online boyfriend, "I've been poisoned. Doctor says I need some intimate detox." I even attached a hotel room keycard photo. Ding. The same message popped up on the giant LED screen in front of the entire ballroom. His contact name? Sweetie Pie Cutie Cutie. The room erupted in chaos. And the famously cold, abstinent CEO? Calmly replied, "Good girl. Tonight, I'll take care of you." I lost my mind. Wendy. Emergency. Granny's acting up again. My bestie Bessie had sent me a WeChat message. I jumped in panic. Looked left, looked right, crouched, and tried to sneak out. Though honestly, there was no point. After all, at events like this, once us unpaid interns have been worked to death prepping everything, the rest of the gala, the glitter and glory, has absolutely nothing to do with us. Which is why I was in a corner flirting with my online boyfriend instead of networking. But just as I was slipping out the door, I got caught red-handed by the department manager. "Where do you think you're going? The new CEO is about to give his first speech. You dare skip it?" It was this very same CEO who recruited me back then. And with his chubby Buddha look and goofball personality, our dynamic had always been, I'm the pig unafraid of boiling water. The more he scolds, the wilder I get. Hearing him now, I raised an eyebrow. Does the CEO need me to kneel and greet him, serve tea, or warm his bed? He raised his hand to smack me. If I'm not mistaken, he even had a "why are you like this" kind of expression. "Do you even realize," he exclaimed, "our CEO is rich. Stupid rich. Like insanely. Stop, stop, stop. That's such a basic description. Can't you pick something classier? I'm not that shallow." Now it was his turn to look at me like I was insane. "You're young. If you're not chasing money, what are you chasing?" Kind of made sense. Too bad, I'd already found a younger guy. Fit. Hot. And deep in online puppy love with me. Hopping into a cab and giving the driver my address, I thought of the manager's words and snorted. I opened my private photo album, the one just for my online boyfriend, and stared dreamily at his abs, V-line, and long legs. Giggling like a creep, I typed and sent, "I've been poisoned. Doctor says only intimacy can cure me." My puppy boy replied almost instantly, "Good girl. I'll cure you tonight." I shoved my phone in my pocket. Even my reflection in the window showed a ridiculously smitten smile. By the time I'd calmed Granny down and returned to my apartment, it was nearly midnight. Half asleep, I took a quick shower, then collapsed on the couch before even making it to my bedroom. My long-abandoned phone buzzed again. When I picked it up, unread messages almost exploded the screen. 90% from my little puppy boy. "Sweetie, how do you want me to kiss you? Baby, should we video call instead? Why aren't you replying, cutie? Wife, are you mad at me?" God, his pitiful tone was killing me. Panicking, I sent him a quick voice note, "Babby, I just finished work." Everyone says that while I look delicate and soft, my voice is all domineering big sis vibes. Put together, it's like I've got a split personality. But to this man, who's never even seen me in person, my voice is his everything. His mountain. His sky. His emotional harbor in a cruel world. Sure enough, the second I sent that Queen Energy voice note, my little puppy melted. "You scared me, baby. Please never leave me again." "Of course not. My manager said our CEO is filthy rich today." I didn't even blink. Didn't even look. I just wanted to reassure him. What I didn't expect was that this little puppy would start throwing money at me. "Puppy boy sent you $52,000. Puppy boy sent you $66,666. Puppy boy sent you $88,888. My head spun from the cash bombardment. Just as I was about to tell him to stop, my coworker Mary video called me. I picked up without thinking. Before I could speak, Mary exploded like a dog being chased. "Wendy. Our new CEO, holy shit, you won't believe this. He's got a lover." And just as he was giving his big speech, the LED screen lit up with a WeChat message. Guess what the contact name was? Freaking, Sweetie Pie Cutie Cutie. I rolled my eyes. EW. So gross. Mary clearly didn't appreciate my reaction. Her voice shot up several octaves. "Gross? Gross is the CEO's girl, not the CEO. Do you know what she sent him?" She was practically fuming, trying to breathe through the rage before she screamed. She wrote, "I've been poisoned. Doctor says I need intimate detox." Heh. Say that again. She actually said, "I've been poisoned. Doctor says I need intimate detox." Heh. Say that again. Some people are alive, but their soul has already left the chat. Like me. I swear my soul had already exited, and my 7 spiritual senses were howling. Mary was still ranting on the other end. When I didn't join in to yell with her, she even clicked her tongue in annoyance. What's wrong with you? We're supposed to be roasting the CEO's mistress together, damn it. What was wrong with me? I was still trying to survive, okay? Mary, what if the CEO's little sweetheart is actually me? You think the other girls in this office, the warrior queens of vengeance, won't tear you apart with knives, spears, axes, chains, hooks, and sticks? Mary did not disappoint. She gave a chilling laugh. Forget the other warrior queens. If that little bitch is you, I'll personally marinate you in hot sauce and serve you raw. Bye. Breakup. Immediate breakup. The next day, I wrapped myself up so tightly even my own mother wouldn't recognize me, and sneaked into the office like a thief. Even then, I couldn't escape the overwhelming wave of love letters. Everyone was gushing about our new CEO like they were writing 1,000-word essays. Broad shoulders, slim waist, mile-long legs. Sharp nose, rosy lips, sculpted features. Cold, detached aura like a frosty Greek god. Why was I silently reciting all that while squished in the elevator? Because, legend has it, the CEO himself actually got in the elevator with us peasants. I mean, he has his own private lift. Why was he slumming it with the rest of us commoners? That tiny elevator now became a vivid display of two very different lives. Around him? A half-meter radius of dead silence. Not even air dared to breathe. Me? I was being crushed into the elevator wall. A mosquito buzzed in out of nowhere, trying to squeeze in. Wait, no, not a mosquito. It was my phone. Buzzing in my pocket every 5 seconds. Wiggling every 10. If I didn't pull it out soon, I'd either die from internal vibration or get murdered by all the CEO fangirls trying to admire him in peace. Finally, I escaped the elevator and checked my phone. Of course, it was him again. My little puppy boy. Wifey, good morning. It's another day of loving you with full power. Cutie, I dreamed about you last night. You told me you loved me. Baby, I love you too. Mwah mwah mwah. I crouched beside the trash bin, tugging at my hair. This couldn't go on. Even our horoscopes were incompatible, just riding the same elevator felt like a death sentence. I couldn't let an online romance cost me my life. But to be fair, we first met through an online game. He was a newbie who had just joined our guild. All he did was follow me around like a devoted puppy while I mowed down monsters in front. His compliments were endless and free-flowing. You're amazing, big sis. I'm totally under your spell again. Look at me, senpai. Then, he confessed. He wrote an actual handwritten love letter, took a picture of it, and sent it to me. That thing was so thick, it might as well have been a PhD dissertation. Page after page of his adoration for me, it was like a waterfall crashing down 3,000 feet. Even with all my emotional armor, I got soaked in affection. There was no way I could say no. What I didn't expect was that the sweet little college boy I thought was all innocence was actually my big boss. Not only could he decide my paycheck, he could decide my life. So I stared at my phone, face heavy, heart even heavier. Maybe we should call this off. I hovered my thumb over the send button, one final maybe away from ending it. But then, he sent me a picture. It was the same outfit I saw that morning in the elevator. That perfectly tailored black dress shirt, hugging his sculpted muscles, 3 buttons undone down to his abs. Maybe I could hang on a little longer. After giving myself a mental pep talk, I clutched my phone like a lifeline and started sniffing the screen like a maniac. Then, my manager showed up. He looked at me, looked at the trash bin, then gently patted my shoulder. The CEO really is great. Super rich. Insanely handsome. You've been single forever, you have to seize this opportunity. I have a feeling no other girl in the company can compete with you. The title of Mrs. CEO is practically yours already. No wonder some people stay single their whole lives. The manager clearly had no idea I was already dating the CEO. My eyes welled up. I had no tears left. But I stood up proudly, chest puffed out. I'm no longer just Wendy. I'm Wendy Plus, the woman secretly dating the big boss. But I barely took one proud step before he shouted from behind me, the CEO wants to see you in his office. And just like that, I curled into a cowardly little ball. He practically dragged me down the hallway like a half-dead dog, all the way to the CEO's office door. What does the CEO want with me? I asked for the NTH time. He's new, he's trying to get to know the staff, the manager replied for the N+1 ST time. I'm just an intern. What's there to know? He even talked to the janitor. He doesn't need me to. But before I could finish, the manager kicked the door open without knocking and shoved me inside. There I was. Face to face with the big boss himself, mid-photo shoot. The air froze. I started curling my toes in my shoes, mentally renting a 3-bedroom apartment with how hard I was cringing. But of course, he recovered immediately. That's what CEOs do. I heard you studied game design in college. I nodded robotically. Then shook my head. His perfectly sculpted brows furrowed. I jolted, laughing nervously like a eunuch in a palace drama. I didn't go to college. But I self-studied game design. Why didn't I go to college? Wait, is he questioning my education? There's nothing to question. I just didn't take the entrance exam. Because, well, personal reasons. He placed a brand new, high-end computer in front of me. His back turned to me, fingers clacking away on the keyboard. Then he motioned for me to sit down. Trembling, I lowered myself into the chair his noble but had once graced. Then, pop. The screen lit up with, our online game. The game where we met. The game where we fell in love. I was dead. Should I play dumb? Or just drop dead? CEO, this is. I opted for dumb. He clearly wasn't amused. You don't recognize it? I can't afford to recognize it. This is the game our company developed. Isn't it your job to be familiar with it? Yes. Technically. Back when I applied for this high-paying job, I'd studied it inside and out. Even climbed the rankings into the top 3, as a completely free-to-play player. But now. You want me to log in front of you, using my gloriously badass character? I still want to live a few more years, thank you very much. Granny would go nuclear without me. The CEO's frown deepened and deepened. And my heart sank right along with it. Thankfully, he was still a kind man. He let me go, just kidding. He did not. He logged into his game account. And then, I watched, mortified, as messages from my in-game character started popping up one after another. Come, let big sis show you how I undo a belt one-handed. Kinda over your abs today. Send me a pic of those long legs instead, I wanna see all the way to the thighs. Hubby, quick, take off your clothes and let me give you a kiss. I mean, I was the one who sent those messages, but seeing them from a third-person point of view? I wanted to die of shame. And yet, the CEO didn't even flinch. Right in front of me, he typed back, Wifey, I'll let you kiss me after work, love you, moi moi. Click-clack, send. Then he lowered his head and looked at me. Expressionless. I wanted to crawl under a truck and disappear. Still staring at me, he said nothing. Panicking, I clapped my hands awkwardly and said, You and your wife must have a great relationship. Ha 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 ha. See? He had me so flustered I couldn't even talk properly. God knew I almost called his wife his mother by accident. But after I said that, his face suddenly cleared up. From gloomy skies to literal sunshine. And that smile? It just kept getting brighter. Yeah, he said contentedly. Then, like he was flexing on the universe, he added, My wife really, really loves me. If I wasn't his wife, I probably would have been convinced just from the way he said it. That night, I ran back to my apartment like I was being hunted. He wanted me to operate my game character in front of him, but he knew my every move, down to the key bindings. I couldn't let him see the truth. So I faked being utterly clumsy. 10 fingers. 10 levels of incompetence. In the end, he didn't say a single word, but from his icy expression, I read one very clear message, get out. So I did. Immediately. And just as I escaped, guess who blocked me in the stairwell? Yep. The department manager. Grinning like the gossip gremlin he was, he asked, So? Did the CEO fall head over heels for you yet? I couldn't meet his eyes. All I could do was pathetically show him the reality of how much of a failure I was. Unlike the CEO, the manager was much more direct. He didn't just yell, get out, a few times. He actually kicked me. Multiple times. I couldn't keep going like this. This relationship? It needed to end even if my heart didn't want to. So I messaged Bessie, do you have any method that can make a rich, hot, capable man fall completely out of love with me? Bessie, being my bestie, usually replied in seconds. But this time, it took her a whole minute, and then she replied hesitantly, maybe, show him your IQ test results. I seriously considered it, then replied, wouldn't that just make him love me more? Out of pity. This time, she sent a voice note, this rich, hot, muscular, highly competent man, does he have any flaws? Like what? Blind? Emotionally damaged? Or maybe he's got a kink for dumb girls? A disorder where he's only attracted to idiots? Friendship terminated. Blocked. Left with no other option, I called another close friend, would you be willing to be my mistress? I got blocked instantly. Honestly, when it came down to life or death, you couldn't count on anyone. It was time to rescue myself. So, I created a brand new game account. Grinded like hell. Day and night. Finally, my alt account climbed to 4th on the leaderboard. Before anyone could react in the game chat, I dropped a bomb via world message, my alt proposed to my main account. And my main? Divorced the CEO's character immediately, and married my alt. At that moment, I completed a full circle of chaos. Naturally, the CEO lost his mind. By Monday, I was in a much lighter mood. In-game, my two characters were now officially married. And no matter how hard the CEO's character chased and tried to kill my alt, I calmly announced their retirement from the game world. We're quitting the game to pursue real-life love. Then I uninstalled the game. And just for good measure? Blocked the CEO on WeChat too. I believed in the healing power of time. At least now, I no longer had to live in fear that I'd get murdered by the CEO's legion of secret admirers at the office. But before I could celebrate, something felt off. The whole company's atmosphere had shifted. Before, it was just me walking around with my dog head metaphorically tied to my belt, trying not to die. Now, everyone else looked like they were on the verge of death. So I decided to find the department manager, who'd just recently gotten his metaphorical skin peeled off by the CEO for a minor mistake, and ask what was going on. He glared at me so bitterly, like a mute assassin trying to kill me with eye contact alone. No matter how I pressured him, he wouldn't spill a single word about the CEO's bad mood. I gave up with a dramatic TCH and left to happily go about my coffee fetching and turn duties. That is, until I got summoned. The CEO called me to his office. This time, I thought I'd be fearless. I was wrong. The second his icy gaze landed on me, my knees nearly gave out. Look at me, trembling again like a leaf. As the saying goes, a smiling face never gets hit. So I flashed him my best innocent grin and greeted him sweetly, "Boss. Would you prefer jasmine green tea or honey tea today?" I couldn't help but silently praise myself for my break up then grovel strategy. Now that we were no longer in a relationship, being shameless around him came so naturally. Of course, it was a tragedy I could no longer ogle my sexy little puppy boy's body, but hey, survival mattered more. And I did save all those pics he sent me before. Too bad the CEO wasn't in the mood for flirty banter. He sat across from me, clearly annoyed, and casually undid 3 buttons on his shirt. I forced myself to look away, refusing to glance at that deliciously tanned skin he'd accidentally revealed, let alone imagine what lay beneath it. Because honestly, I was scared I'd get a nosebleed. Or worse, lose control and pounce on him like a maniac. Then out of nowhere, the CEO asked me in a low voice, if a woman didn't break up with me directly, but ran off with another man, disappeared, cut off all contact, what reason could she possibly have? His question caught me so off guard, I nearly short-circuited. Clearly dissatisfied with my awkward pause, he said bluntly, "Fine. I'll say it myself. She probably just didn't love me anymore." No way in hell. Forgive me, but I couldn't take the heat of his murderous gaze anymore. I chickened out. Hard. It must be because you're too amazing. She felt unworthy, insecure, like she didn't deserve you. I pasted on a polite smile as I delivered the answer. Whether or not it was true, only I knew. Still, it sounded convincing enough. After all, I'm just an orphan. Never even took the college entrance exam. No degree. No background. Nothing to offer but a stunning face and a somewhat clever brain. How could someone like me be worthy of him, our flawless, perfect CEO? Maybe my expression was too sincere, because the CEO actually paused, and started thinking it over seriously. Fine, think away. I started swinging my legs out of boredom. And then, he pulled out his phone. Tap tap tap. A moment later, my WeChat started buzzing like crazy. Then, the CEO dismissed me. I bowed low like a loyal servant, backed out of his office, ran straight to a deserted corner, crouched behind a trash can, and pulled out my phone. What I saw almost gave me a stroke. He was back. The CEO, whom I'd blocked, was suddenly back on my pinned chats list. One unread message was flashing, "Wifey, I love you. You're not allowed to leave me." Those words nearly blinded my tearful eyes. In that moment, I wanted to call the cops and scream, "Hello? Officer? My WeChat's been hacked." Correction, we were back together. Or rather, our online relationship had risen from the ashes. All I did was wash Granny's feet, and this little puppy had already sent 10 new messages. My head throbbed. Granny was leaning back in her chair, eyes closed, thoroughly enjoying the melodramatic CEO romance story playing on the radio. Like some empress of the Qing dynasty, she suddenly snapped, "If you don't silence that damn phone, I'll smash it. It's buzzing non-stop. How am I supposed to hear what the CEO's sweet little wife is up to?" Knowing full well that Granny always followed through on her threats, I quickly put my phone on silent. Then peeked at his messages anyway. "Wifey, say you love me. Sweetheart, do you not love me anymore? Baby, you love me the most, don't you?" Thanks to him, I was starting to forget what the word love even meant. What I didn't understand was, how could someone like him, a proper CEO, be so ridiculously obsessed with someone like me? "Granny, I have a friend." After much internal struggle, I decided to casually ask for advice from someone who's eaten more salt than I've had hot meals. Yes, I made up a friend. But my granny, addicted to 5G and well-versed in every modern trope, wasn't fooled one bit. Let's just say, my boss is really, really hot. Like, body sculpted by the gods hot. Filthy rich. And head over heels in love with me. He sends me sexy pics, money transfers, and sweet nothings all day long. It's honestly exhausting. Granny cracked open one eye and sneered, "Hide that smug little grin of yours before you speak, will you?" Busted. I glanced sideways at her. Just then, the radio switched to an ad. Granny finally lifted both eyelids and asked, "So, you found a new man? You're not waiting for your little rascal anymore." Her words hit me like a brick. And I mean really hit. I'd been abandoned as a child. No known reason. I wasn't sick. I was healthy, bouncy, even a little mischievous. The only explanation I could come up with was that I was missing, well, a little something down there. Granny, who lived alone and scraped by collecting recyclables, took me in and raised me. When I was 7, I accidentally stumbled upon a child trafficking gang. With the help of some heroic police officers, I helped rescue 2 kids. One was Bessie. The other was him. Little rascal. He was a boy. Clearly traumatized. While Bessie inhaled 3 bowls of rice after being rescued, he was still burning up with fever. We were dirt poor. Even one cold pill was a luxury. So I stripped him down and wiped his body with alcohol like an old-school folk remedy. He survived, miraculously, and gradually recovered under my care. But unlike Bessie, who dared to challenge the village's guard dog within 3 days of being rescued, little rascal didn't speak. Not one word. All he did was cling to my shirt and follow me around like a shadow. Thanks to him, all my tops, already cropped from being too small, got stretched another size. Bessie had also been abandoned, so no relatives ever came looking for her. But little rascal was different. One day, a convoy of fancy cars pulled up outside our home. I didn't even know what brands they were, I just knew they weren't from our world. Little rascal, who'd practiced vow of silence for years, was being carried into one of the cars by a bodyguard in all black. He suddenly squirmed free, ran to me, and threw his little arms around me. Then he whispered in my ear, "Wait for me to come back, when I grow up, I'll marry you." Then he kissed me. Hard. It felt like cupping therapy. Now we're all grown up. And that little rascal who once promised to marry me? Gone. Vanished. No trace. Good thing I never took a kid's words seriously. I just regret never seeing him again. That night, after cooking dinner for Granny and coaxing her to sleep, I sat alone in the courtyard, zoning out. I couldn't help it. I sent the CEO a message. Even though he'd told me he had a dinner party and would be home late, I still wanted to be dramatic. "How long do you think you'll love me? Will you disappear one day and never come back, just like that little liar who once promised to marry me?" His reply came almost instantly, "Wifey, I'll never leave you." I read it casually. Smiled casually. Online romance is a game. Take it seriously, and you've already lost. Or so I thought, until, the very next second, he sent a voice message, "Wifey, let's meet in real life." I froze. Poof, my dramatic mood vanished into thin air. Meet in person? Did this man want me dead? Almost reflexively, I typed out a reply, "Let's not. I mean, I'm ugly. And broke. What if you regret it the second you see me?" He replied, sounding genuinely aggrieved, "Wifey, shouldn't I be the one afraid you'll regret it? I'm the one who was abandoned, remember?" Maybe it was the way the night air felt too beautiful. Or maybe it was the mention of little rascal. Whatever it was, something short-circuited in my brain. I clenched my teeth and took the plunge. Fine. Let's do it. If this is fate, let's face it head on. After sending that, I went searching for the bottle of wine Granny had hidden away. I planned to drink alone under the moonlight. After all, I was about to suffer heartbreak. No, maybe even unemployment. We agreed to meet the next day, after work. Meet up? Sure, whatever. Let it happen. I blew an entire month's intern salary on a full set of makeup I had no clue how to use. Then I wrote an IOU to Bessie and borrowed a gorgeous dress from her. Anyway, I saw the CEO every day at work. Every day, that deadly handsome face. Every day, that icy aura of his. Meeting him outside of work? Pfft. What was there to be nervous about? So what if I dropped dead from exposure? Strutting into the office like I owned it, I was instantly dragged off by the design department. "Wendy, quick. Write dialogue for this NPC." Barely 3 seconds into feeling cool, I was pinned to a desk and working overtime. By the time I finished, I was utterly exhausted. My brain fried. My mouth dry. I felt like a prisoner finally released from a 5-year sentence. The makeup? Totally wrecked. I pulled out my phone, ready to text the CEO and cancel our meetup. But before I could type a single word, the power went out. Wait, what? The entire company went dark. A company this massive, experiencing a blackout? Did the CEO go bankrupt? Could I start financially supporting him now? Frantically, I started calculating how much I had left in my emergency fund. Would it be enough to buy him breakfast? Feeling my way through the dark, I walked out of the design department. And froze. Where was everyone? This enormous company, completely deserted. We're all worker bees here. The power's out, sure. But where did the other bees go? As I took a step forward, I nearly tripped. Turning on my phone flashlight, I looked down. A giant arrow pointed forward. I squinted, nodded sagely, and turned in the opposite direction. Please. I've been through too much in life to follow some dumb arrow. I'm a rebel to the bone. Every arrow I encountered after that? I went the other way. And so, I got myself completely lost. Eventually, I gave up. Wandered wherever. Didn't care anymore. Until I stumbled in front of the massive screen in the lobby. And the moment I stopped, the screen lit up. It was a documentary. About the growth of a beautiful young girl. The protagonist? Me. The old photos were yellowed and grainy. Messy hair. Worn-out clothes. Fraying shoes that barely covered my toes, and the brightest, happiest smile. One photo after another. Then, a boy appeared next to me. Delicate features. Wearing clothes even more exquisite than his face. I recognized him immediately. Little rascal. This was AI generated. I could tell. The boy, expressionless, chased after me like I owed him money. Then the two children started to grow up. They were clearly in different places, and yet, it felt like they were always together. Slowly, the boy's face morphed into the CEO's. It didn't feel out of place at all. Because, the CEO was my little rascal. I covered my mouth. It felt like my soul was floating right out of my body. And then came the final photo. I couldn't help but widen my eyes. It was inside a cyber cafe. I was playing on a computer, clearly yelling at someone based on my mouth shape. Standing just behind me was the CEO. Even in the dim light, his eyes sparkled like stars. And in them, was only me. A joy so overwhelming, so deep, it couldn't be put into words. I was stunned. Completely dazed. Even as the lights in the lobby turned on one by one around me, I didn't move. Then, he appeared. Like he'd just walked out of that giant screen. The CEO. He stood in front of me, tall and broad. His shadow swallowed me whole. His eyes. So gentle, I thought I might drown in them. Wifey. I trembled all over. I came to fulfill my promise. And just like that, my tears came pouring down. Is it because I didn't come looking for you for so long? He hesitated, lips pressed into a guilty line. Just when I was worried he might have gotten married or had a baby somewhere along the way, unsure how to even ask. Someone suddenly barged in. Oh come on, this is too slow. Let me explain. Both the CEO and I turned stiffly toward the intruder. It was our department manager. Sadly, he remained blissfully unaware of how unwelcome he was, even positioning himself perfectly between us like a pro, facing me directly. So here's the deal. Den's kidnapping? It was orchestrated by his stepmother. His dad? Classic love brain. By the time Den got back, they'd already popped out a new baby brother. You know how messy rich families can be. Honestly, it's a miracle he's come this far, narrowly escaped death more than once. Now that he finally took over the family business, he's been looking for you nonstop. He didn't show up earlier because he didn't want his enemies to know how much he cares about you. Didn't want to put you in danger. I forced a polite, deadpan smile. And, you are? The department manager flared up immediately. You're not even the CEO's wife yet, and you're already pretending not to know me. No. I waved my hands quickly, desperate to clarify. But the CEO calmly shoved him aside and gestured to the security guards. He's my uncle. Ignore him. Then he added, slightly annoyed, it's like a couple trying to get intimate, and someone suddenly shows up wanting to read them a bedtime story. I really want to beat him with a broomstick. He loosened his tie. Being the considerate woman I am, I reached out to help him remove it. Then I unbuttoned 3 of his shirt buttons. And gave his firm chest a very professional, calming touch. Strangely enough, that worked. The CEO's gorgeous face, so unfairly handsome it should be illegal, blushed just a little. He gripped my hand tightly and said, Wifey, for the future, can I ask you for 2 things? I sniffled, looked up at him. Let me guess, have 2 kids? He froze. The way he stammered reminded me of my little puppy in the game. Yeah, sure, that works too. I burst out laughing through tears. So what were you gonna say? From now on, can you always stay by my side? Let me stay by yours. I sniffled again. But there's something I can't hide from you. What is it? He asked nervously. The doctor said I lowered my voice dramatically. He immediately pulled me into his arms, his voice trembling. It's okay, baby. It's okay. He was shaking like a leaf himself, but still forced himself to stay calm for my sake. I know you've been through so much since you were little. If your body's not well, we'll take it slow. I'll be here. I'll take care of you. Honestly, I didn't want such a romantic moment to turn into my own funeral. So, I grabbed a fistful of his hair and pulled him back with full CEO girlfriend energy. The doctor said I was poisoned, and the antidote is kisses. 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 The moment I said it, applause and cheers exploded from all directions. Startled, I immediately launched myself into his arms. And just as perfectly timed, he leaned down and kissed me. Hard. In that moment, it felt like fireworks filled the sky. And I knew. We were going to be happy. Forever. 1 year later, Joe, put that backpack down. Where do you think you're going? Hands on hips, I glared at our 5-year-old son. Joe, with a tiny backpack stuffed with ragged clothes, looked exactly like his dad. And worse, he had my smug little expression on his face. Mommy, he whispered dramatically, I have a secret to tell you. Go on. Great-grandma said Daddy only found you because he ran away from home. And you only found Daddy because you were wearing super shabby clothes. So I've decided, I'm doing both. I want it all. I lost it. Grandma. She was probably sneaking cake again. Judging from the sound, she'd just choked. I didn't eat anything. At that point, I genuinely didn't know who to strangle first. After some internal debate, I chose the main culprit. I stormed into the bedroom, only to find my husband shirtless and undressing. Instantly, my battle mode self short-circuited, replaced by a drooling fool with sparkling eyes. After all these years of marriage, our kid already in school, I still couldn't get over how sexy this man was. The CEO turned around and gave me a devilish smile. Wifey, you still owe me one more wish. Aren't we still short one, baby? When should we start? No time like the present. I lifted my dress dramatically. Come on. His POV. I approached Wendy on purpose. I couldn't wait to reconnect with her. I even projected her messages on the company's big screen on purpose. I wanted to see how she'd react when she realized her online crush was me. To my surprise, she panicked. But that was okay. Wendy worked at my company. She was already within reach. She was always destined to be mine. So I made sure to create every opportunity to get close to her. Love, after all, is something you fight for. Besides, I'm good-looking, rich, and no one will ever love Wendy more than I do. From the moment we met, day after day, I've never stopped. No way she could resist my face. But just in case, I added a little money too. Getting close to Wendy wasn't coincidence. It was the result of a long, careful plan. And when I saw the way her eyes started to soften, when she blushed, avoided my gaze, and her voice turned warm, I knew. I'd won. The girl I secretly loved for over 10 years had finally become my girlfriend. Then my wife. And now, I'll spend the rest of my life showing her just how much I've loved her. Silently. Fiercely. Completely. In our 2nd year of marriage, we welcomed our baby. But you know what? Even with our baby here, Wendy is still the one I love the most. And the second most? Wendy, too.